Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking a look at Nendoroid Shinra Kusakabe from the anime Fire Force. And might I just say, what a sweet, sweet boy. Fire Force is a wonderfully creative story written and drawn by the mangaka Atsushi Okubo. I hope I said that right. The same mangaka for Soul Eater, if you've seen that. And I'll admit that when Fire Force was first announced and I saw the initial trailer, I really thought I was in for a ride similar to Attack on Titan. Thrilling mystery intrigue with the horror factor of spontaneous human combustion. And boy, was I wrong. It's nowhere near as serious as Attack on Titan. It's more like the 7 Deadly Sins, if anything else, just a bunch of lovable idiots trying to do the right thing. I also think it's fairly underrated in terms of the whole scope of anime. I think many people have issues with the plot. But those people just aren't people of culture, I guess. In all seriousness, what is undoubtedly amazing about this show is the animation and the sound design, as well as those banging OPs and EDs. I don't know what we did to deserve Fire Force, but I'm sure glad it's here. Long story short, this show has a lot going for it, so if you haven't picked it up yet or started it, give it a try. Give it the old 3-episode try. Anyway, moving on to the box, and nothing special, but I feel as if the colors were very purposeful. The colors on this are pretty unusual. They're not so vibrant and in your face. There's a mixture of dark and light grays that, you know, dominate the color scheme, but then there's these, there's this orangish maroon, which, you know, fire, obviously, that's what it represents. And then there's this sort of pale, dull neon green, or olive green, I guess. And I think this olivey yellow sort of represents the color palette of the show. If you look at some of the shots, a lot of the scenes will have a swatch of this color, maybe to elude the dryness in the setting. In this world, the planet is suffering greatly from climate change, global warming, so that's why spontaneous human combustion is more of a thing in this show than it is now. Although it is a thing that happens today, and it's terrifying, and I watched a video on it, and I cannot look at Fire Force the same after that. I'll leave a link in the description below. Anyway, getting this figure out of box and the little cardboard insert is this striking red and white, which is very vibrant and in your face. It matches the overall color scheme of the show, the card titles, as well as the manga covers. So, good smile, I see what you're doing and I respect your decisions. And taking a look at what Shinra comes with, and yeah, this makes me happy. And getting this little devil out of the box, and he looks really, really nice. Way better than I thought he would. I like that the overall colors on him are a bit more vibrant than what's actually in the show. The blue stripes on his uniform can't glow like they do in the show. That would be impossible. So they're this shiny neon blue contrasted on the matte black paint all over his coat. Maybe it sort of gives the illusion that it's glowing? No? No, it doesn't. But if you care that much, you could buy neon blue glow-in-the-dark paint. It's actually not a bad idea, but I don't want to ruin my figure, so one of you guys can try that. Getting a closer look at Shinra's head, and he's got a nice hair sculpt. It's kind of boring, but it's very accurate, I guess. It's painted a nice, solid, matte black, but looking at it now, it looks a bit more brown under the light that I'm filming in, which is actually pretty impressive, because in the show his hair is actually a deep dark brown instead of black like I thought it was. And while I was writing this review, I accidentally spoiled myself on something that has to do with his hair in the manga that I'm not reading. So let's just move on. Getting a closer look at his faceplates, and the standard serious one looks really good. Orange Rouge or Orange Rogue, whatever the name of the company that produced this figure, did a really great job, especially in the eyes. I think he has beautiful eyes. Is that weird to say? I'm really sorry. His second screaming faceplate is also wonderfully expressive. I really like that his eyes, his pupils are smaller because it looks like he's really focused on one thing. He also looks like he could be embarrassed that he saw something he wasn't supposed to. And his third and final expression is unique to him and him alone. He's the devil, after all. Yes, this devil gets his smiling expression. Shinra smiles when he's nervous or excited, and I think it adds a really fun element to his character. I mean, the reason he's smiling isn't all that fun, but it's a very interesting way to show his trauma and how other people perceive his trauma. Anyway, we need to move on, so let's take a look at the various hands that Shinra comes with. And as always, Shinra comes packaged with the standard fist. Boring, but expected. He also has open, splayed out action hands, which also look really good. These two pairs of hands are pretty standard among characters that are action-oriented. They look good. I don't have anything else to say. Getting to some hands that are more character-specific, and Shinra comes with a saluting right hand for his superiors. Oh please, Nendo God. Please make an Obi Nendo. I know it won't happen, but a boy can dream. Please. Shinra also has his Korna hands, or his rock and roll hands, and these are just another addition to a very solid character and very solid character design. I'm thinking about this more in an animation perspective instead of a figure perspective, but these are just, I mean, come on. The sculpt and little silver details on all of these gloves and hand parts are masterfully done as well. And last but not least, Shinra comes with these praying Latom hands. Latom. How do you say it? Latom. Latom. I don't know. His normal articulated shoulders can't bend in far enough to accompany these, so he comes with bent shoulder pieces that replace the ones that he was packaged with in order to just get this little praying pose down. And I'll admit, these were a pain in the ass to swap out the first time I did it. So this next bit is going to be a unedited portion of me trying to swap these shoulders out as fast as I can. Glad the Latom hands are included. I mean, I really am. The execution was a bit strange, and that's a trend that continues on with this figure. So speaking of somewhat strange articulation, while his arms are the typical super movable Nendoroid style that are common on the action figures and video game Nendoroids, his legs have interchangeable bent leg pieces to make it a bit easier, I guess. Is it easier? We'll get there. And you know, the devil's legs are a bit more important than his arms. He comes packaged with these straight standing legs. They look fine, but they're kind of boring. In order to make this a bit more dynamic, he comes with a bent right leg and an even farther bent left leg. And I'll be honest again, this doesn't look that great to me, at least the final pose that they have for him. And don't get me wrong, there's something really charming about seeing how they worked around getting his leg to bend up past his big bulky coat with this little piece that plugs into that farther bent left leg that plugs in like this. And that alone makes me appreciate the attention to detail. But at the same time, I'm not really sure what they were going for. Here's a picture of the promo image so you can get a feel of what the professional photographer was doing. And yeah, I just don't think it looks that exciting. I think it would have been better and easier to make a lower waist that detaches so the coat can flare out. Then you can have unlimited bent leg articulation. Similar to the Nezuko Nendoroid that I did a little quick review on, she has a skirt, and her skirt's very narrow, but she also has an interchangeable part that makes it flare out so that her legs can get more motion. And I think that's a great solid idea, and I don't know why it wasn't implemented with this one. And I'm being a bit nitpicky here, but it's because I love how it looks. It's just all a bit strange. No, not that strange. And the last final little part of this guy is the reason for his namesake, the devil, and what he leaves behind, the devil's footprints. Shinra comes with 2 pairs of fire effect pieces that vary in intensity. He comes with these smaller flames that plug into his feet. There's a little sculpt on top of these that show where his foot should go in. This gives the slight illusion that the fire is not only coming out from his feet, but engulfing his feet entirely. Because you know, Nendoroids are all about that realism. This illusion is taken even further with his bigger flame effect pieces. And these are freaking amazing. I think both of these flame effects look beautiful, and I adore the orange airbrush attention to detail where it starts sort of this smoky orange at the top and it gets clear at the very bottom to sort of give that flame effect. But I will say that these bigger ones are just far more interesting and fun to pose around with. There's just something about these Adola burst daggers that complete the look for me. The smaller ones are good for when he's floating or just hanging around, right? But if my boy Shinra's in a battle of sorts, you best know that he's gonna have these giant flame dagger things attached to him. These also have a little place where you can see where his foot is supposed to be placed, but you can swivel them all around. Same with the earlier ones. And that's about it. I say that like he doesn't come with a lot, but I'm sort of left here with a strange feeling. I feel as if some of the design elements were not play tested as much as the others. Because on one hand, I think the look of Shinra is amazing and perfect, and I can't see anything that's wrong, really. But on the other hand, I can't see how he can look amazing if he's not in a static, rigid, standing up pose. And you know, I think most people collect Nendoroids for that reason. As long as he's cute and fits somewhere on the shelf, I'm mostly content. I just wish he had a bit more articulation. This is a character that's always flying through the sky, and I feel like this Nendoroid wasn't meant to do that. Fire Force is a series that I surprisingly enjoy a lot, and I especially love Shinra's character, and I can't wait to see where he goes. I'm only watching the anime, so please, no spoilers. And I'm glad that Fire Force is getting some Nendoroid Good Smile love, and please don't think that I'm just nitpicking this figure to hell. I really enjoy it still. I mean, he's adorable and has fire. There's not much more I can ask for from a Shinra Nendoroid at that point. I think he could have just benefited from some more time in the production phase, similar to the Tanjiro Nendoroid that I reviewed. I mean, I love him, but compared to his Demon Slayer peers, I feel as if Tanjiro came out a bit too early, because all the other ones look fantastic and perfect. So I'm still hoping for maybe an Arthur Nendoroid from Fire Force, and hopefully an Obi one, please. So don't feel like this figure deterred me from collecting, although it could be just the collecting obsession that I have. But I like this guy. I'm not sure where he'll stand in my top 10. I'm actually getting a little anxious coming up with that top 10 list. I've started already because I think that my mind's gonna change a bunch. So it'll be interesting. I'm actually interested to see where I put him, and then, you know, time passes, he might go up or down on the list depending on whatever. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this review. I enjoyed making something that was a bit harder for my head to wrap around. I think it's important to put your opinions in writing sometimes, so I'm really glad that I did, and I'm glad that if you made it here, you watched the whole thing. I really appreciate you coming in and watching my channel every week or so. I'd also like to know your opinion. Are you picking this guy up, or did this review make you not want him or want him more? I'm curious. Next week, I'm planning to make a CTF Mezco versus Marvel Legends Iron Man video, so subscribe and turn the little bell icon if you want to see that. I think I'll be posting on Sundays now. I think that's a pretty solid day to post on. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.